What if I told you that your brain came with a user manual? Well, today we're cracking it open. We're going to dive into some amazing insights from cognitive neuroscientist Dr. Tali Sharot to uncover the hidden programming that shapes pretty much everything: our decisions, our happiness, and our entire lives.
So, let me just start with a question that might hit a little close to home. Have you ever felt stuck? Stuck in a job, a city, a relationship, a life that you know deep down you've outgrown, but you just can't seem to make a move. If that resonates with you, you are so not alone. And here's the most important part. It's not a character flaw. It's biology. Our brains are hardwired with this deep, deep preference for what's familiar. It will almost always choose a miserable certainty over an uncertain future, because on a primal, survival level, the unknown registers as a threat. It's that ancient mechanism that can keep us trapped.
And that brings us to our first big idea. We've got to understand our brain's hidden defaults. We're going to take a look at the neurological programming that makes change feel so incredibly hard.
Dr. Sharot actually has a name for this exact feeling: existential stasis. It's pretty much the state of being stuck simply because your brain is screaming that the uncertainty of leaving is a physical threat. It's like a safety program that has gone into overdrive, prioritizing the safety of what it knows over your potential for a more fulfilling life.
As Dr. Sharot herself puts it, uncertainty is a state that people generally don't enjoy, and that fear often keeps us exactly where we no longer belong. So yeah, that feeling of being stuck, it's a real, powerful neurological force at work.
Okay, so if our brains are wired to keep us stuck in the name of safety, how in the world do we break free? Well, the answer lies in understanding what truly creates fulfillment. And this brings us to what Dr. Sharot calls the 3 pillars of fulfillment. And, spoiler alert, it's about way more than just being happy.
So check this out. Dr. Sharot's research shows that a genuinely fulfilling life is a mix of 3 key ingredients. Happiness, comfort. That's just one slice of the pie. The other 2, which we often neglect, are meaning, that sense of purpose, even if it involves a struggle. And variety, which is all about novelty and growth. Our brains crave that stuff. And this is absolutely crucial. If all you do is chase happiness and comfort, you actually risk stagnation. It's a paradox, right? Your brain gets bored. It needs complexity. It needs challenges. Without that sense of meaning and variety, life can start to feel really empty, even if, on the surface, you have everything you thought you wanted.
So this leads us to a really powerful tool for getting unstuck: the power of a choice. Let's dig into how the simple act of exercising your own agency can literally start to rewire your brain.
It's called the choice justification effect. And honestly, it's a total game changer. It's this simple 3-step process. First, you just make a choice. Any choice, big or small, where you feel you're in control. Second, the moment you do that, your brain gets to work. It starts hunting for evidence to prove that you made the right choice. It becomes your own personal hype man. And third, as a result, your satisfaction with that choice actually goes up. You literally create your own satisfaction.
And this isn't just in your head, it's physiological. Even making small, symbolic choices, like what to have for lunch or how to organize your desk, can physically lower the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, in your body. It's a direct biological signal that tells your system you're in the driver's seat.
And this quote from Dr. Sharot just sums it up perfectly. Once you make a choice, your preferences change to match it, effectively creating your own satisfaction through the act of deciding. Agency isn't just a feeling, it's an active process of shaping your own reality. Okay, so let's bring all this into the real world. In our next section, we're going to talk about navigating modern life's curveballs and how we can apply these brain principles to the challenges a lot of us are facing right now.
Ever heard of the midlife crisis? Well, neuroscience actually has a map for it, and it's called the U-curve of happiness. We tend to start out pretty high in our youth. Then our happiness levels predictably dip to their lowest point sometime in our 40s, before they start to rise again in later life. The point is, this isn't just you. It's a common biological pattern.
But here is the most important way to reframe this: that midlife rock bottom is not a failure. It's actually your brain performing a necessary software update. It's shedding all those outdated expectations from your youth to prepare you for a more authentic, more grounded second half of life. It's a feature, not a bug.
And let's talk about another massive modern curveball: cognitive freedom. In our digital world, we're surrounded by algorithms that are engineered to exploit our brain's natural biases.
For instance, they know we want social confirmation, so they keep feeding us content that's been liked by others just to keep us scrolling. Maintaining your own intellectual independence against that constant pull is a critical new skill for our times.
So, how do we put all this together? Let's move to our final section, mastering your inner world. This is where we learn how to become the true architects of our own minds.
Okay, this is basically your roadmap to taking control. First, you have to understand your brain's built-in biases, like its tendency to prefer a safe status quo. Second, you need to proactively seek out those pillars of fulfillment: agency, variety, and meaning. And third, you have to consciously realign how you see things with your biggest goals. The whole idea is to move from being a passive passenger of your own biology to the active architect of your mind.
And this brings us to the ultimate takeaway from Dr. Sharot's work. She says, to master your internal state is to influence the external world. The brain's perception is the primary force that shapes the reality we live in. Think about that. Your inner world doesn't just reflect your outer world, it literally creates it.
Which brings us to our final thought. Your brain's perception isn't just a passive filter, it is an active creator. It is constantly building the reality that you experience. So the only question left is, what reality will you choose to create?